new commander, Quintus Arias.
How many rowers?
200, Consul.
And reliefs?
Of 30 every hour.
This man is ill. Replace him.
Change him.
Right, sir.
This man has been giving you trouble?
He's insubordinate, Consul.
That will stop. What service have you seen? 41.
A month less a day in this ship.
You keep an exact account. And before?
3 years in other ships.
3 years. You have the spirit to fight back, but the good sense to control it. Your eyes are full of hate, 41. That's good. Hate keeps a man alive. It gives him strength. Now listen to me, all of you. You are all condemned men. We keep you alive to serve this ship. So row well and live.
You know, there's an old saying that's been repeated for centuries. It says, those who do not learn from the past are destined to repeat it. Or there's another saying, I mean, it's pretty much the same saying, but sometimes they use different words. It says, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Okay. When I was coming up studying the Western civilization, which actually is rooted over there in Egypt, what I noticed when I first heard that saying and the difference of the words. Okay, those who do not learn from the past are destined to repeat it. You can look at that in two different ways. It depends upon where your heart and your mind is, according to that. So it says, those who do not learn from the past are destined to repeat it. Now, if I possess a mentality that is wicked and it goes in harmony with the intentions of a system, then my perception would fall in line with destined to repeat it. Because eventually what is meant is that those who do not learn from the past are destined to repeat it. So you're looking at the present day that was rooted from the past and which created a system like this. And so you learn what this means if your mind is considered by me not in the right place. You're destined to repeat it. So I learned of the Western civilization. And so I'm interested in getting on the team. So I get on the team, and that puts me in the position to where I'm destined to get on board with the Western civilization. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat it because it's my destiny. So that makes you a centurion. So people who are outside of that, whose mind is in opposition of that, they say, they perceive it like this: those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. So like the man said, you are all condemned men. One was sick. One was considered insubordinate. So what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to be at peace, being a slave and being whipped. You know, his whole life has been taken from him, and he's been put at the bottom of the ship. And so he's supposed to be at peace. He has an attitude. He has an attitude. So he's insubordinate, you know, because every time you come in contact with that man, he has an attitude. He's supposed to be at peace with the abuse that he's trying his hard to endure. So people like that are considered insubordinate. Now, the other one, who is sick, oh, he can easily be replaced, but however, we'll hold on to him. Just go ahead and put him to the bottom of the ship until his health gets better. Those are the ones that you find out you really can't trust, because not only are they physically sick, but they're mentally and spiritually sick in that area, and they'll do anything to stay at the bottom of that ship. And so you have people like myself who are in the back. I just so happened to be there because I was put there unjustly. So who are you? I'll tell you how long I've been there. And for some strange reason, they can sense that I'm enduring it with dignity and self-respect. And my mind is sharp and my memory is intact. And so I am unlike the sick ones. I am unlike the insubordinate ones who break the rules of the system. I cooperate. I keep doing this, I cooperate. I don't like it, but I'm enduring it with self-respect, strength, wisdom, and dignity, and a sharp mind. That's not acceptable either. I'm supposed to be full of hate. I'm supposed to be hate. I'm supposed to be out of control. I'm supposed to be angry at the slightest things. But at that point, they can't read you because you're very much under control. And so when they hit you with threats like the whip upon the brother's back, of course, I'm going to respond. Like, what are you doing? However, I have wisdom and intelligence, and I understand the status that I'm up under. And so I'm in control. And I hate what you're doing to me. Your eyes are full of hate, 41, but you have the good sense to control it. Then he lies to the man. Tell this man that hate is a good thing. It's a form of strength and it keeps a man alive. Lies. See, these institutions come up with their little policies that are rooted in hate. And so you're supposed to cooperate. And you're supposed to be full of hate. And due to the fact that you maintain your integrity and self-respect, it's a threat to them. So they want to try you. They want to inflict you with some form of injustice. And even though that they can perceive that you don't like that, which is very human. However, you have a goal in your mind. And so you're going to control self because you understand who the challenge is. The challenge is not your oppressor. The challenge is you in response to your oppressor. And in knowing that every situation in this living journey is not permanent. This is just temporary. Because you can look around and you can tell things are turning and working in your favor. And as long as you can perceive that, you keep doing this and you keep your self-respect and you keep your dignity. The movie is called Ben-Hur by the late and great Charlton Heston. It's one of my favorite movies because there's a lot of lessons contained in that movie. Now, when the war came up against their enemies, the man who was the walking around telling them that they were condemned men, and we keep you employed to run this ship, the one that was telling these men that they don't really matter, you're just a number and you can be replaced. When their enemy showed up and there was a huge war and that particular ship went down, who was it who saved the life of that man? The one who had the whip was whipping, coming down there telling the men that they're condemned. You know, the one who he hit across the back, that's the man who saved his life when the ship went down. The one that he abused is the one in whom saved his life. And they ended up becoming very good friends. As a matter of fact, the Roman guy had adopted the Jewish guy, the one who he hit with the whip, and took him on as his own son. I could go through the whole plot, but I'm only explaining a limited part, a limited area of the storyline, just to make a point. So he ended up saving his life. So what is it that God does in situations like that? When God can see that this is not right, And one thinks that he's in power, but he's really not. He's at the weakest point of his life due to the fact that he feels as though he can abuse another human being. So when you think that you're in power, you're at your weakest point. When you think that you have power over other human beings and you can just hurt them, you can just abuse them, you can just talk all kind of ways about them simply because they're human beings and they're disappointed in how they're being treated, you perceive them as having an attitude. However, when the war came and that ship went down and that guy who was hit upon his back with the whip, he was the one who saved that guy's life. It was him because of the beauty of his heart. He didn't hold on to things. Yeah, I'm just gonna let him die because he hit me with the whip. It's not about that. It's about humanity. So I bring this up and I'm going to make this video very short. The whole thing is history keeps repeating itself, not because we are in some repetitious cycle when it comes to time. History is repeated. We keep seeing the same things because men won't change their hearts. What is going on, what was going on back in the days of Rome, Egypt and Rome, the reason why you see these things today, the reason why history keeps repeating itself, is because man refuses to change their minds and their hearts. And so this is one of the reasons why Jesus also told Peter, you let the dead bury their dead. People who are dead mentally and spiritually, they find themselves in that repetitious cycle in time because they haven't changed their hearts and their minds. And when time continues to move forward and these people are unable or choose not to move forward with time in terms of principalities and growth and human development of the mind and the spirit, those people are considered dead because they're not growing. They're not growing. So when I studied Rome, after studying Egypt, studying Rome, and studying human behavior and how social engineering has messed a whole lot of us up in terms of the way that we think and the way that we respond to things, I chose a side to be on. The side that I chose was the one in the back, the one who got hit with the whip. Yeah, you hit me with this whip for a little while, but it will not be forever because I'm not sick, either physically, mentally, or spiritually, and I'm going to do my job effectively. So you can't say that I'm being insubordinate. And you're never going to make me hate. Hate is not what keeps a man alive. Hate does not give a man strength. It's love, baby. It's going to always be love. And through all of that, was this man angry? Did he have an attitude? No, he was in humility. Was he being patient? Nope, he wasn't being patient. He was waiting until God liberated him from that condition. If you look in your Bible, even Yeshua never taught patience. Yes, you were always taught, wait. Look at Psalms 37. Wait on the Lord and do good. In other words, wait for your liberation. And during that wait, during that time of endurement, continue to maintain love in your heart. Continue to maintain self-respect. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. Everything could be temporary. It all depends on where your mind and where your heart is. But if you belong to an institution that is ran by hate and wickedness, and when you're in the midst of it, when you mess up and you join in with the wickedness and the hate, it's not a good thing, because it all gonna come to an end. It's just a matter of time. But when you maintain your self-respect and your dignity, and you continue to have love in your heart, it's only a matter of time before God liberates you from that position and status in your life. So endure it, that particular time of your life. Endure it all the way to the end and keep your self-respect. And don't worry about how people look at you and how they perceive you. And if they're intimidated or uncomfortable around you, so what? So what? You're supposed to be so mysterious. Why? Because you are not getting the reactions and the responses out of me. You know, a lot of people expect the worst from you because they have mistreated you. But you very rarely come in contact with someone who has been through the fire and has been through the worst. You know, the worst doesn't make you worse. There's a dual component there. Your past can either make you a bad person, or it can make you a good person with dignity and self-control. But you'll never make me hate. Hate, that's temporary. You can either embrace it or you can discard it. Never lose yourself. Never lose yourself. You are enough. You're enough. Just endure it. And just look around you and see the world that they think that they're building falls. And when it does fall, you be there for them. You be there for the people that you love. You be there for those who were just lost by the influence of the environment. You be there. That's the power of love, wisdom, and intelligence. Hate does not make you strong. Hate does not keep you alive. Hate kills. Hate destroys. Endure it. Endure it all the way to the end. You are enough. Believe me, you are enough.